When I'm talking to sellers, the question often comes up, how do I get my business ready for sale? And I've got a few things here that I generally sort of communicate back. It's quite a long list of stuff that you can do. It's never ending really, but these are sort of the main things that we look for ideally. And I've broken them down here. So one is when, another one financials, another one's the lease, just for the sake of a couple of things to be able to have a look at. So how to be business for sale. I think whenever the owner's motivation or their drive is low, or if it's, if they're losing their motivation to continually grow that business. So I'm talking about financial motivation, so they're not investing in it anymore, not spending money on marketing, or they're cutting things back, or they're not in there driving their revenue and driving sales in their business. If that's really gone off the boil, then it's time to look to get out. Because what I see happen is you can hold on for too long, and you're there, and then you're not sure, and maybe I'll, and then all of a sudden this has been going on for 2 years, right? While that's happening, you can see what's going to happen with your sales and your profit. And then now, when you come to us at the end of the 2 years and you say, oh yeah, look, we now want to sell, I've sort of had enough. Well, you'd actually had enough 2 years ago, but now it's talking to us now. You've made our job really hard. We're now trying to sell an asset. You probably want the same money, and now you've put it with us to try to sell this business that's going backwards. If you were a buyer, would you want to buy a business that's sort of declining and going backwards? No, you're going to look for one. There's plenty of business for sale. You're going to find one that's going the other way. So we can sell it. It just makes it a lot harder for us, which means if it's harder for us, it's less chance that you get your money quicker, and also that you quickly, and also less money that you're probably going to get as well. So in the end, it affects yourself more than anything. What we look for is also if you've got a good 2-year history financially in your business, that's a good time to be able to sell. So if your business has been on the up, and you're doing well, and you've put the time in, it's good to get out when you're on a high. Because as we know with business, it doesn't always just go straight up forever. It goes like this, and down and up and down, and that's how it works. So it's good to sell often when you don't need to. It's a bit like going to the bank for money. You notice they're always willing to lend you money when you don't need it. You get all these letters, do you want to buy this, that sort of stuff. But have you ever been in a position where you're kind of short and you wouldn't mind getting a loan, then it's a problem. So it's a little bit like selling your business. You'll sell it faster if you don't need to. And the other things that can cause you to sort of move is if you have other events in your life that happen. Other things that happen in your life or with your business. There you're like, okay, now I'm going to move on. But probably the main thing is as soon as any of these things occur, make a quick decision. Get it done. That's the best advice. Because you're probably going to end up doing it anyway, right? So the longer it takes, it doesn't normally do you too many favours. Because it's not going to sell straight away anyway. You could still be there for another year. Okay, financials. Just other things you can do to prepare your business for sale in terms of financials is, there's often a lot of add backs, right? Your cars, your phones, some of your travel, just stuff in general, some accounting costs, things that aren't necessarily directly related to the business necessarily. A good way to do that is to create in your chart of accounts through Xero or MYOB or whoever it is that you're using your chart of accounts. You create a section called Director's Office, and within that you put down Vehicle 1 and you write what vehicle it is. Don't just write cars or vehicle. You write, Steve's Audi or whatever car it is. Yeah, Steve's Audi. Steve's Audi fuel, Steve's Audi repayments, Steve's Audi repairs and maintenance. Yep, whatever it is. So it's really broken down for Director's Office, and it really shows exactly what that is. And you put all of those costs that are related into Director's Office. It's still a line on your P&L, but there's a subsection called Director's Office, and then each of the lines then underneath that. Because then from our point of view, or from a new buyer's point of view, it's really easy for them to see what things might relate to that are add backs. Yep. They're still within the P&L, but see how it's cleaner, much cleaner then. That's what we talk about when we say that. Other part is your cash. So look, if you've got a cash business, it's okay. You don't need to then go and necessarily adjust the way that your reporting happens. All you need to do is understand that people who run a cash business that's got a large amount of cash in it, often the ideal buyer is somebody who actually understands the way that that business and that industry operates, because they can then easily justify for themselves exactly what's occurring financially in this business. So just keep it so that they can get clean proof, is what we say. So clean proof, so they can do their due diligence and prove to themselves, yes, okay, I'm satisfied that this is happening, and that when I take over, it'll continue to happen. So that's really what looking for. So you'll know what I mean with that stuff. Ideally, you want your sales to be growing. So if you know that you're going to be getting ready to sell in the next year or two, do things that make your revenue grow. People will look straight away at your last 2 or 3 years, and if revenue drops, it's an X, it's a mark against. Try to have your revenue growing. Even if it's just a little bit, it's growing. That's what you want. Yep, a little bit more this year, a little bit more that. Then it makes it much easier for us to sell, which means you get your money faster and you get a higher price generally. Keep your expenses either even as to where they were or dropping. So challenge yourself. Look at your business, and sometimes you'll say, oh, I've cut my expenses to the bone. There's nothing more I can do. Look again. Look with a new set of eyes, a fresh set of eyes. Get someone else to come and have a look. Say, if you were to buy this, what would you change? Now, you might have your defences as to why you want to keep this and why you want to keep that, but listen to what they've got to say, because maybe there are things you can change. Maybe you can change a supplier for that. Maybe you don't really need that. It's the way that you've always done it. Because remember, it's actually not about that now. It's about getting the business sold and getting it sold quickly and getting a good amount of money for yourself. That's actually what you want to do. So you sort of sometimes got to step away from it a little bit, look at it differently. But if you can have some of your expenses that are dropping and you've taken some expenses out to really improve your profit, that's good. It's not false. You just were spending money that you probably didn't need to spend. And that's what the whole story is. When a new owner comes in, they're probably going to do it anyway. You just did it for them. So you get the benefit of that change, not necessarily when they bought the business, not them. So that's a way to look at it. And the other one is in terms of your lease. So look, when it comes to the lease, there's no doubt about it. It has a big impact on the saleability and the speed at which we can sell your business and the amount of money that you can get. If you're in a business, and there's two different sorts, right? So in our business, we're in an office, so it doesn't really matter. We're not site dependent. The amount of revenue in what we do doesn't depend on if we're in that office or that office. But if you're in any type of retail business or anywhere where logistically you need to be there, it's much better if you're there in that particular location. You want to protect the way that that business is linked to stay in that location. So to do that, you really want to make sure that you've got plenty of options to renew. Yep, so this is what I mean here by options. Options to renew your lease. You might have 3 years left with another 5 by 5 by 5. Believe me, you can never have enough options. The further they can go out, the better. So, and really, ideally, 10 plus years. Someone comes to us and we've looked at everything, we've got leases 10 plus years, we're like, beautiful, that's what we need. That's very helpful. Now, it doesn't mean if it's got 3 years that we can't sell it. Of course we can. We've sold businesses with less than a year to go on the lease. It's completely doable, but it impacts how quickly we can sell it and then the price that you're going to get for it. So it makes sense, right? There's always a buyer for everything. It's just a matter of they'll make sure that it's going to stack up for them financially, as you would too. So if you've got these things in place, it just makes it easier for them. So that's some things that you can do to help get your business prepared for sale, and then get yourself in the best possible position for those two things that I mentioned, which is get the highest possible price and sold it in the quickest possible time.